Hello, everyone. I'm Kristen.
And I'm Rachel.
And this is So I'm Watching Barry, Season 3, Episode 8, starting now. Oh my god!
This was so good.
This season, I've liked every episode of this show.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's been one that I would be like, oh, you can skip that one. But this season is the best one.
Oh, absolutely.
Which is so shocking.
Yeah.
It's so unusual for a show, especially a show like this, to just keep getting better.
Mm-hmm.
It's so good.
And now I'm like really, really excited for season 4 because
me too.
Where do we go from here?
I can't wait.
My brain is like just all over the place.
Yeah. All right. So
much like Akmal and Yandar's bodies.
I was going to say, let's start in Bolivia.
Yeah.
Because basically the three of them are still like whispering through the walls. They're trying to decide how they're going to escape. Yandar and Akmal have a plan, which gets torn to shit because the Bolivians come to check on them and they notice that their bonds are free. And so they introduce like a tiger to the situation, tiger or a lion or something to the situation.
Some kind of big cat.
A big cat. And we and NoHo Hank just hear them getting ripped apart while the Bolivians hysterically laugh.
It was so much.
Really bad. Here's the thing is I'm holding out hope that Akmal has just lost the arm that he keeps getting shot in.
Just but a flesh wound.
Just a flesh wound. Maybe he'll be okay. I don't want to lose that actor.
I know.
Because he's the one that said, you're king of Suckballs Mountain.
Yeah.
And I want him. But anyway, as he can hear that, Hank is like, pulling, trying to get free.
Hank is so scared.
So scared. He can't handle getting eaten by a tiger.
No.
It reminds me of that Bob's Burgers where they're trying to put Felix in jail and Mr. Fischoeder is like, he can't go to jail. He'd hate it there. And I'm just like, Hank cannot. He can't do this.
No.
But so as he's pulling, trying to get free from the handcuffs, he's almost degloving his hand. It's really tough.
I hate it.
He's bleeding, but then they end up snapping in the middle. So he is...
Or what... did they snap in the middle or did the pipe break?
They snapped in the middle because he was able to hug Cristobal at the end.
Oh, yeah.
They snapped in the middle. So then he is free and then a guard comes into, and then also the tiger is like
throwing bodies at the wall.
Through the wall. Like that's shoddy workmanship for your dungeon. As an FYI.
I think it was just a wall that they threw up
just
real
rooms.
Quick. Yeah, because like blood was seeping out underneath, like in between.
Yeah,
it was.
Yeah,
a lot of fluids. There's a little bit of puke
because one of the guys couldn't handle it, and he like vomited right in front of Hank's cell door, and it came spilling through. Lots of peas and carrots.
Yeah, very green.
Yeah, so. One of the guards comes in, presumably to get him for like the next round or whatever, and sees that he's free, and he almost shoots him. But Hank comes through in the clutch, and he gets his gun from him, and he beats him up, and then he just shoots through the wall with this like automatic weapon.
And I know that we just heard this cat kill these men.
Yeah.
But the crying and the whimpering, I was like, oh no, poor kitty.
Poor kitty.
It's just because they don't know.
No, he doesn't know.
He doesn't know. And also, I was...
he's like a gladiator cat where they just like don't feed him for 3 weeks so that he'll eat a person for sure.
He's just hungry. But I really wanted Hank to shoot the guard. We do that first and then blow up the wall. You know
I think he got him hard enough that he was like, he's gonna be out for a while.
I was very the whole time I was just waiting for him to rise up and then be like dunk on the top of the head.
Yeah. He doesn't.
Yes.
So Hank goes through the house and Elena is
doing fucking shock conversions therapy
on Cristobal. She's got like the cabana boy to like dance around in front of him in a Speedo, and every time she's asking, do you like that? And then shocking him, and then having the cabana boy play piano music while she makes him touch her breasts.
And it was because it was the last really long one.
Yeah.
And it seemed like he was on the brink of going
it went a little too far. Yeah. So I love the not so subtle nod in this episode to how conversion therapy doesn't work, because literally Hank comes in, shoots Elena and the pool boy in the head, presumably, and they're dead. And the minute Cristobal sees Hank,
he just
his
relaxes.
face, there's recognition. He knows what's going on, everything, and they hug. And that is all we get of Hank and Cristobal. I just want them to be back in their really beautiful house in the Hollywood Hills together.
That's all I want. And
It's
like
so
fancy
nice.
robes. Yep.
Fancy robes, such a pretty house, such a good view. It
Just
had an
get the
amazing
beignets.
pool.
He can introduce him to the beignet guy.
Amazing.
It'd be lovely.
We love to see it. So, okay.
It's Pride Month. Give us what we want.
Yeah. The rest of it is pretty intertwined. I guess let's go with Jean first.
Okay.
Jean and Annie are having a meeting with Tom and, was it Bob? I think it was Bob. Yeah, Bob Jacobson. They want to do like a competition show where like kids audition for our town. And
It was either going to be our town or you're in town. It was one of the towns. That's just what you do.
And so they're like talking about that, and it seems like it's going well. And but then, oh god, Jean wants Annie to do her play, and it's called like Chrome Fuck
Number 9.
Number 9. She wrote it in the 70s, so it's very experimental. And they, Tom and Bob have this whole like, she said Chrome Fuck? Like, what does that mean? Like, when they're just like Chrome, you know, like on
like a trailer hitch,
like a car. Yeah. Very hilarious. So Jean gets a call from Jim, from Janice's father, and he's like, I need you to meet me at my house immediately. It takes 17 minutes. Don't be late. Already.
Yeah.
I'm like, immediately no.
Mm-hmm.
Immediately no. So he gets there. It's been 20 minutes, which Jim remarks upon. And then he's like, I had to explain why I was leaving a brunch. Like, the excuses have to be made. So I didn't love this whole scene.
Why?
I don't know. It was very, it felt too much from like an acting perspective.
Oh, for me, it felt like an acting exercise. Because the way that Jim kept repeating the question, he kept changing the emphasis.
Okay.
And so it kind of like gets you in a weird intimacy place with it.
Maybe that's what it was. I felt very uncomfy the whole time, but I feel I wasn't uncomfy in the way that I think the show wanted me to be.
Yeah, and so it's actually like part of like acting training for you to take a line and you put a different emphasis on each word. Okay. So then it changes the meaning. Yeah. And so it's like he's speaking Jean's language almost to get what he wants.
Okay.
Yeah. And then because he's also reminding him which is like, you know, his mind stuff, reminding him that he loves Janice. Yeah. And then it changes to, do you love Barry Berkman? Okay. And so it's like doing it in the language that he speaks, but really reminding him that he loves Janice and he doesn't love Barry.
Okay. In that sense, it worked. In another sense, it could have been a 5-sentence scene. Yeah. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, so that is basically the takeaway. Is he's like, if you loved Janice and you don't love Barry, why are you protecting Barry? Mm. And then that's kind of where we cut out of it. And Barry wakes up in the hospital and he leaves, presumably kind of illicitly. And there's no way he signed discharge paperwork. So he leaves and he winds up back at his place where Sally is waiting for him in that like audition room. And she's like, remember when you said that you could do things to Diane? I want to do that to Natalie, which is like, she's gone completely off the like she hates Natalie more than Diane. I still think Diane is way worse than Natalie.
I would agree with you.
So she's like, we've got to do all of this or whatever. And
she goes, here, I've sketched the layout of Natalie's house for you.
And then she literally is immediately going back to like what he said, where she's like, first you'll just take a picture of her and write something scary at the bottom. I'll tell you what to say. And he just is like, Sally, absolutely not. Like, I know what's going to happen to me when I die, and I don't want the same thing to happen to you, because he thinks he's just going to go to this purgatory. And she sort of is like, I don't really care to a point. And then we pan across the room and there's just the one motocross guy standing in the doorway. And
so scary.
And she's like, Barry, and he just cold clocks Barry, knocks him completely out. And then he hits Sally so many times, like 3 or 4 times, really horrible. And I was like, what's she has nothing to do with this.
Right.
Like, And so he's got her on the floor, and then he just starts strangling her. And I sincerely thought
Me too.
I thought we were done with Sally for a minute.
Yeah.
And I was like, not like this.
Yeah.
Like, horrible. Turns out she has the knife because Barry heard someone in the apartment and he grabbed a knife. She's got the steak knife and she stabs him right here.
And it goes like
through his eye.
And he's going, you stab me in the fucking eye, you fucking bitch.
Yeah.
And that's all he keeps saying. And he keeps trying to look at it. And
Yeah.
he's like closing it. And he's like crying blood. And he's just being like, you fucking bitch, you stabbed me in the fucking eye. And it's just like, you're killing me. Like, what do you mean?
It's also incredible. And Sally also levels up.
Yeah, she
because
does.
She gets up. Barry's still knocked out. She gets up, grabs a baseball bat, goes into the recording room, and just starts wailing on him with an aluminum baseball bat. That's talk about getting your strength back.
Yeah, seriously.
We love to see it. So Barry wakes up and basically stops her from continuing to hit him. He's clearly already dead, even though we can't see him. He's got to be dead. Stabbed this way through the eye and then beaten with an aluminum baseball bat. You're not getting up from that.
Yeah.
So Barry basically is like, you have to stop. You were never here. I did this. Don't keep thinking about it. Not even a little bit. You go home. You were never here. And she says, okay, 100%. And she leaves. Barry takes the body to where he buried Jeff and his buddy. He's burying him when Albert shows up, which we did get a call back to him cocking his weapon before he ran out of the room. The chief was like, Detective May was like, have we seen him? And he's like, no, not since he cocked his weapon and ran out of here with no warning or word.
I was very grateful for that because I'm just like, nobody else was upset by that?
Yeah.
Like, what the hell?
Super weird. So he gets there and he basically, I wish that Barry would have been able to vocalize something in that scene, but he, like, I didn't need them to have like a whole hash out kind of a thing, but like, Albert still thinks that he killed Chris for money.
Yeah, but I think that would be a better alternative for Barry rather than him just killing him to keep quiet. Like, I feel like if Albert knew that he just killed him to keep quiet, I feel like that would hurt more.
Okay. Yeah. But he also thinks that he killed the biker, whoever he was just burying for money. I don't know. I wish that there could have been like one word, although like Bill Hader's performance was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Because Albert is just like screaming questions at him and he's got a gun on him and then he just sort of like breaks. He's just like, I can't do it anymore. He's sobbing. He's like, please don't kill me. Like all kinds of stuff. And he doesn't. And he's like, I know that you're not an evil person, but you have to be good starting now. And so I wonder if the starting now came from him.
Maybe, or I mean, that's also just kind of like a term that is used. I thought that was so powerful because we've only heard Barry say starting now. Yeah. And so the fact that it came from Albert, it was like, I have chills just thinking about it. Just the way, because it was not Barry's decision. It was somebody else
from the outside.
Yes, yeah. So I don't know that I can like fully like explain right now like what that meant, but it was just incredible. And the fact that he was like, I have a daughter who's 8 years old. Yeah. She wouldn't be alive if it weren't for you.
Yep.
And you know, we think we got away with, you know, this whole situation with Barry. Yeah. And it's just kind of like, wow, okay.
Yeah, it's like kind of interesting. And then so we'll take a quick detour because Fuchs is still in jail. They Detective May has the Chechen pin and she's like, you know, telling him all this stuff. They think that you're someone, we know that you're Monroe Fuchs, but they think you're someone called the Raven. And so when he gets back to holding, the like guard gives him a blanket and he just goes, I'm the Raven. And she's like, what?
She's like, who the fuck is that?
I kind of love that he's leaning into it. And I also, since I don't think we can have a whole season with Barry in jail, I think that's going to end up coming back to bite Fuchs in the ass.
Probably.
Having like taken that mantle on himself, especially if Hank is going to be back in the Los Angeles picture. Because you would imagine he's leaving Bolivia as fast as his legs can carry him. So then we get back to Barry. He is, he gets a phone call from Jim, who's like, you need to come to my house.
Well, first he talks to Sally on the phone. Is Sally
first?
Yeah. Okay. Sally's first because they're making plans to go somewhere. He was like, I'm going to grab some stuff and then come over to your place. And she was like, yeah, sure. Okay. And then he was like, Sally, I love you. And we don't know if it sounded like she said, I love you too, but our caption said, oh, you do.
Yeah.
And so,
yeah.
They get off the phone and Sally is at the airport and gets on the plane to fly home to Joplin.
To Missouri, yeah. And so then when he hangs up, after the phone call with Sally is over, then Jim calls and is like, you need to come to my house. This guy is taking a lot on faith that people are going to just come to his house.
I mean, they do, though.
They do.
So
he hangs up with him and then he calls Gene immediately. And Gene is like, I'm going to do something like bad. Like, he's going to ruin me. And he's got a gun and he's sitting on the curb of the street and you think that he's going to kill himself.
I was so scared.
Well, it's like, he's a pretty good actor.
Yeah.
Because Barry gets there and he's like, you can't go in there. All he wants is revenge. Don't go in there. So Gene is like helping facilitate this, but also trying to get Barry to leave. And Barry is just like, no, you leave. You get out of here and you go. So Barry goes in. And Jim, that's the thing too, is like, I was a little suspicious from the minute he got on the door, because Jim is also, it's like he sees him coming in the front door and then he just like moseys in and gets more ice and his scotch or whatever. And then Barry comes into the room from the other direction and then walks up right behind him, pulls up the gun, and then there is immediately SWAT everywhere. And then the worst part is that as he's getting cuffed and turned like away, one of the SWAT guys moves and Gene is standing right behind him. It's incredible.
Masterful.
This show's amazing. I really hope we don't have as long to wait in between season 3 and 4. It's so good. I can't wait to see how they pick stuff up because I'm just fascinated.
Me too. I feel like I might go back and watch this episode again because it really blew me away.
It was so good.
Fuck you, Bill Hader.
So
you
good.
directed this one again.
He did like 6 of the 8 this season. He directed so many. I think we've talked about it a little bit before. I think it's always, to me, really interesting when actors direct, because it doesn't always work, but when you have an actor who like really understands the craft of acting, I think they're a lot better at directing because they know what they wish someone would tell them.
Yeah.
And I think that's why he's able to get these performances out of people. And then also he has like a really good eye for what things should look like. So he's able to be like, have that image in his mind. And the only example that's popping up in my head right now is Bradley Cooper doing A Star is Born. Like, I don't think someone else could have gotten that performance out of Lady Gaga as we have since seen. You know what I mean? And so it's sort of like, that's also top of mind because we got some devastating news about her potential next project before we sat down. But yeah, I think he's just like really good at that. And I think we also watched, there's a little featurette on HBO Max about the season as a whole. And like everybody that they talked to had like nothing but glowing things to say about him as like a director and like a person on set. And it seems to be a really tight knit group of people, which is always fun. I don't know. I like it.
Me too.
I'm kind of obsessed.
Me too.
R.I.P. Yandar and Akmal, I guess.
Yeah.
At least Akmal's arm. I am
manifest it.
I am clinging to that. Clinging to that with both my working arms for as long as I can.
Also, in the featurette, Anthony Kerrigan talked with this just regular ass voice.
She's done for over here.
I'm done for.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do with myself.
I feel like I want for us to watch the third Bill and Ted movie just for him.
Okay.
Because I think you'll have a really good time. It's so weird and funny.
Probably.
Yeah.
Just be like, awooga.
No, I mean, he's like a robot.
Awooga.
But I mean, it's like not. It's not. not sexy.
I'll be fine. That will be for me to determine.
Okay. We'll
at this point.
So yeah, that was it. This was such a good season. We both had such a good time. I don't know what we're going to pick up next. Probably something. Just keep your eye out. We need to update our schedule on YouTube. If you liked this, let us know.
Yeah.
If there's something you want us to cover, you can put your suggestions below and we will take them under advisement. You can like and subscribe, and you can follow us on Twitter at soimwatching. You can also donate money at any of these fine establishments. And then other than that, we will just see you around.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.